I'm like, I don't think you're ready for life with me. I don't know.
Hey, I'm always ready. Welcome back, Front Porch Chronicles, where the real conversations cut past the surface. Today I'm sitting down with Amberlee, a self defense instructor and certified victims advocate, showing up for people, not just teaching them physically, but helping them reclaim their. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
I follow you on your journey on social media. You get me motivated. Some days I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like working out today. And then I watch one of your videos doing the jumping jacks and I'm
You'll,
like, bro, I'm getting up and getting out. So let's hop into it. Take me back. Before teaching self-defense and doing the advocacy, what was life like for you?
well, life was a lot like me living it through my sons. I started the whole self defense realm, bringing my sons into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, Gracie Baja, because of bullying. And, I had to get them into something. And I'll tell you, that's been the best experience I've ever had in my life is training Brazilian Jiu Jitsu with my kids and the self defense aspect of it. And that's really what got me into it. And it's been a journey since then. And I resort to it every single time. I tell people like MMA and mixed martial arts, it's therapy for me. It's been therapy for me, and it's been a great blessing that my sons have had, and they've adapted it to their lives, and I'm just grateful for it.
That's awesome. What what was it that made you say I want to dedicate my life to helping people? What was it that was the motivating?
Well, the motivating factor is just my life. I've had a traumatic childhood and growing up and learning how to navigate through all the challenges and the trauma. And when I found jujitsu, when I found the self defense and being able to advocate for people that have been through violent experiences, I felt it gratified me and it just helped me. It helped me get through my challenges and knowing that I'm able to take what I've learned from the experiences that I've been through and able to help somebody else. That's what drives me. That's what drives me every day is knowing that like, hey, what I've been through sucks and I don't want to ever go through that again. But can I learn the lesson and can I teach somebody else to help them go through maybe what they're going through? And that's what drives me every day. And that's what keeps me fighting for that every single day.
You know, it's funny. I tell people all the time, similar. I had a very traumatic experience throughout life. And as bad as it sucks, the gratification I get from people saying, hey, you helped me by sharing your story, the same thing. Like, it sucks because, like, I don't want to talk about being sexually assaulted as a kid. I don't want to talk about like all of this stuff, but knowing that every time I help somebody else, that 7-year old kid, inner child, smiles because all the people that said he would never be anything, all the people that said all of those things, he smiles knowing that he's helping other people change their lives. I feel that in my whole chest, and I think that's why we kind of always have gotten along. Thinking about that, what does the day to day look like with victims advocacy?
I'll just tell you from my own personal experience
Yeah.
dealing with severe PTSD and I'm still healing. I lost my son last year and it's a journey. It's a constant healing journey. And I meet people and like through social media and all the things that I do, I come across just marvelous people that want to tell me their story and I can relate to and the things that I've been through. And as I come across those people, the day-to-day things is I have my own rituals. I have my things. I have my personal affirmation messages that I tell myself. I wake up every day and I look in the mirror and I tell myself that you're beautiful, you're resilient, you are strong, you can make it through this. You've been through so much in your life and you're still here today and there's a reason why you're here. And as I told myself those messages, I remember that there's somebody out there that can be right at the realm of where I was before I felt like there was nothing. And if I could just reach out to that one person that could just say, like, I understand. I understand what you're going through. And I'm telling you, it sucks right now to go what you're going through. But there is a light at the end of this tunnel. There's a light at the end of this tunnel. And those are like personal messages. there's so many things that go throughout my day to help me keep my mind mentally positive, and that's what my advocacy is for. It's for to let you know, hey, there's an outlet to what you're feeling right now, whether it's on the bag and you're hitting the bag, the mitts, whatever it is, you're letting out that anger, or you're doing it through breathing and meditation. You're letting that good energy in and you're trying to get that bad energy out. And that's what I try to emulate. I try to emulate that to everybody, and that's what my journey is about.
A lot of people think about self defense and they think about fighting back. What are some of the overlooked parts of advocacy that you teach?
Some of the overlooked parts is feeling like the victim. You know, a lot of people, I think one of the biggest things I have with my clients is getting past the why is this happening to me, and this is I'm a victim and all these things are happening to me, and you know, you get stuck in that negative cycle to where all you see is negativity throughout your day. So one of the first things I try to teach people is, yeah, shit's going to happen to you. But if you don't know how to say, hey, I got knocked down, but like, I'm not going to stay here. This sucks. What I'm going through really sucks. And if I can learn the lesson that I need to learn and I can apply that lesson to my life, and what's even better is if I can help somebody else through this lesson that I'm learning that I need to learn so that I can move on. That's what it's all about, is learning from the sucky situations that you go through to teach somebody else, and teach somebody else how to get out of that victim mentality. Because I think that's the hardest things for us through life is when I get knocked down and I you know, I call it the sucker punch. I'm like, okay, here comes the sucker punch. Am I going to just lay there on the floor, or am I going to pull up the bootstraps? Am I going to tie up those bootstraps and say, like, I have to do this. I'm here for a reason. I was left here for a reason. And if it's to inspire others, if it's to motivate you, if it's to help you through your situation, then that's what I'm here for. And I really applied that to my life, and really made that part of my life's goal. And that's what victims advocacy is about, is to get out of the victim's mindset, to say, I've been through shit and I've been knocked down, but I'm not going to let it keep me down. I'm going to get up and I'm going to make something of my life, and I'm not going to let it say, I'm not going to ask the question, why me? I'm going to learn that lesson so I can apply it in my life so I can never be in this situation again. And that's,
For such a long time, I was stuck in the why me. Like, I
yes,
questioned everything. I questioned, like, even my spirituality. Like, God, why me? Why do I? Death,
yes,
chaos, all of it. Why me? But I've learned, kind of like you said, I can't focus and ruminate in that, because when you do, is when you just continue. I call it the hamster wheel. And
yeah,
you just keep going round and round and round, and you can point fingers and you can blame and you can whatever, but it's actually looking in the mirror and saying, I am the master of my
yes.
domain and I have to own my shit. If I can't own my shit, then how do I expect to be a good, father, like anything to anybody until you do? And that's the hardest part, is doing that. But once you do that, it completely shifts the way that you look at things.
Like I have a lot of people that, you know, they come to my lives, and they come to, you know, just meeting me in general. People meet me, and often I have people say, like, wow, like, okay, so you know, I had a ceiling fan incident, right? Like where I
Yeah.
chopped my face with the ceiling fan. So I'm walking around with two black eyes, a broken nose, and like, and it was so funny because people are like, blink twice if you don't feel safe at home. And I'm like, if you only knew, if anybody tried to do this to my face, like, I feel sorry for that person. But it was interesting because I got so much attention from it. And as I was working on the energy to try to make people understand that, like, this was self-inflicted, nobody's doing this to me. But like, it made me think, like what would somebody else be going through that maybe this is happening to them on this basis, and to see me, and to see the light that I have. And they're like, how are you so bright spirited? And how are you like with two black eyes? I'm like, you know what? Because I have to look at myself in the face every day, and I have to tell myself, like, you got this. You got this. Like, nobody else is going to tell you you got this but you. Because people can give you all these inspirational messages and tell you all these things, but the one that has to believe it is you. Because you're not going to get it through no matter what anybody else tells you. You have to believe it in yourself. And I really learned how to adapt that message to my life and everything I do. And it emulates in my energy when I'm out in public. I mean, you don't understand how many people are just like, what you've been through, what? And I'm like, yes, I could give you a whole story, but I'm just telling you that today that there's not a thing that you could go through in your life that you say that you can't go through, because God's going to put you through your challenges, and you know that he picks his strongest warriors, and like, you know, you got to sometimes flex and say like, okay, I am the strongest warrior, I guess.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I actually was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he's dealing with his kid, and his kid's older, and he's like, this, and I'm like, dude, you can tell them till you're blue in the face, but until a person actually in their mind sees it or goes through it, they're not gonna learn to pick and choose your battles. And one of the things that I've learned is with my kids, I foster a environment where I don't tell them what to do. I say, hey, this is what I would do. And some
Yeah.
people, like my brother, it's funny because my brother now, I raised my brother, he's 35 years old. And my brother now will be like, you're such a pussy. And I'm like, what? He's like, you used to read. And I'm like, dude, as you grow and you evolve, and as I've healed, it's allowed me to project and be those things that I wanted and needed as a kid. It was to be able to be comfortable, to be able to be at peace, not to have to worry, not to have to stress, not to feel like that I had to fit inside this box for my parents to potentially love me. You know, what do you think is the hardest transformation when you deal with advocacy? Do you think it's the physical skills of learning self-defense, or do you think it's the mental shift that is?
100% it's the mental shift, you know, because I can teach people how to punch a bag. I can teach them like how to do meditative breathing to help them through those panic attacks and the things like that. But what you can't teach somebody, and what I've learned in especially in victims advocacy, is just an example is people come to you and they, you know, when I was doing the women's self-defense class on a big scale, I would have people come to me and they wanted help, right? They wanted help. They knew they were in a bad situation. They wanted to get out, but they couldn't get out of the victim's mentality to say, like, hey, I want to make a change in my life. So you get stuck with, like, for me, I'm like, I want to help you. I want to help you so bad, but there's like a change that you have to make in your own mind. It's not something that I can do for you. And it kind of goes back to what you're saying. Like, you have to learn it for yourself to realize, like, this is the change I need to make, right? So we all have that little thing that we have to learn from our own experiences and our own being stubborn and like a mule, and like to learn, like, I have to get in the hit in the face this many times before I realize I'm gonna slip, I'm gonna dodge that hammer coming straight to my face, you know. And it's hard being a mother. It's really hard. Okay, being a mother of five boys has been a struggle for me, but I think that's one of the biggest lessons for me in going into the victims advocacy realm is understanding that everybody's going to have their own timing. I would say the timing when they realize that this is the lesson that's coming to them, and this is what I need to do to learn that lesson. And I don't want to get hit in the face with a hammer every single time I walk through that door. And I guess that's the biggest struggle, but it's also my biggest challenge. And it's the thing that I love most, because I can have them like look at me and I can give them a little bit of my life and be like, look, this is the way I did it. And let me just give you the rundown of how it went for me. And if you choose to go that way, and I'm telling you that this is what's going to happen, then I understand. I have to understand and accept that that's the way you're going to learn. That is the way you're going to learn. And I will be there to pick you up when you fall down. I will be there to pick you up, to lift you up, to let you know that, like, we all do this at our own.
That was one of the best things I ever did, is to let go of that mentality of thinking. And it comes from trauma. Like, we feel like if we love somebody more, then they're going to love us back. We feel
Yeah.
like that if we do more for them, then they'll eventually, like, but that's, you have to, like, I say all the time, not my monkey, not my zoo. Like, I'll give you a hand, like, and I'll listen and I'll be here for you, but I'm telling you, this is what I see through my experience. It's your battle. You do it whatever way you want to. Not my
It's
monkey.
letting go when you know you have to let go. I think that's
Yeah,
a hard part, is knowing when you have to say, this is your part of your battle, and I will pop back in when you're done with that part. But it's the letting go and understanding, like, because you've been there. you've been there, you've been through the struggle, and you know what it's like to say like, oh my gosh, there's nobody here, help, help. And you know that they're about to go through that, and you're just like, I'm trying to help you and I'm trying to tell you what it is, but you just don't want to listen. So like, you're going to just go through what I just went through.
Do you think that that's the hardest part of your work? 100%.
100% the hardest part. 100%.
So, have you had situations where, because here's the thing, some people would never, this is one of the things that I've learned. I had a conversation. I haven't spoken to my father in probably 5 years. And somebody said, do you, and I don't, he did a lot of mean, hateful things to me. But I walked away from that situation with forgiveness because he did probably the best that he could do. But people ask me, like, do you think you'll ever? I think some people are just so set in not looking in that mirror that we talked about that they're incapable. God is good and God is powerful, and but I pressing on somebody's throat at times. They will rebuke and they will
Hmm.
refuse. Have you had anybody that you had to let go of the
Yes.
situation? Yeah.
Yes, there was people that I tried to help, and I've even gotten myself into, legal and, dangerous situations to try to help a person, and trying to do the whole explanation of like, hey, this is the situation, this is what I see, this is, I'm talking like 20 years of experience of what I see is going on with you, and this is the way it's going, and this is a dangerous person, and you need to remove yourself. And I got to a point where, I caught myself putting myself in dangerous situations for this person who was not gonna make the choice to remove themselves from the situation, and I finally had to tell the person, I finally had to tell her, I was like, hey, like I'm trying everything to help you out, but there comes a point in time in my life where I have to look what's best for me too, and I have to protect my own safety and my own peace of mind to know that there's just some people that they're just not going to make that decision, and you can't sway them either way. And you have to tell yourself that I've done everything I can to help this person, and it has to be on their own terms, and I can't be a part of that because it's beyond my emotional capacity to help that person, and I can't let it disturb my peace in my life. And as much as I want to help them, because believe me, I want to help the world, that's why I started my organization, is I want to help everybody. But part of that is understanding I have to help myself first, and I have to know what my capacity level is to help somebody. And when they just don't want to help themselves, I have to be willing to let go. And
It's like
it was hard.
look, it's like Kenny Rogers said, know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Exactly. I was like, fold, you win, you win for this moment.
Exactly. Not my monkey, not my zoo.
Not my zoo.
What is the most rewarding thing from you're dealing with?
The most rewarding thing I can say is just seeing the smiles, and I'm an empath, and so like I feel people's energy, and knowing from the moment that I speak to somebody and just give them a little piece of like advice of something, like you don't even think, the thing about advocacy is you don't realize that the little information that you have or the little wisdom that you have that you can give to somebody else can change their life, because it's something that they've never heard before, or they've never seen anybody like you, they've never seen anybody that's gone through so much trauma and hardship, and see you this there smiling and giving them the energy that you're giving them. It's knowing that they felt my energy and knowing that it's helping them, whatever it is. If it's that the positive affirmation messages that I tell them, yes, I do speak to the mirror and I say it every day. And my little corny tagline about loving yourself as much when you fail as you do when you succeed. If it's those little things, those are the things that give me joy. Those are the things that let me know that I'm on the right path, that what I'm doing is what I'm here to do. And it's a lot. It's a lot just to see and feel the energy from somebody else who was down, just like I don't know how I would pick them up, and they're here and they're here and they're fighting every day, and they're doing the things they need to do, and I can see them going on the right path. That's what gives me joy. That's what gives me joy in my day.
That's powerful. As a woman in this space, what unique advantages do you feel you bring?
it's the caregiver energy part of me. You know, I'm a mother, and so I'm very empathetic. So I can, being an empath is huge because regardless of what you're telling me, and that was one of the skills that I had when people would come to come to UFC and they wanted to start my women's self-defense courses. And it was always like, okay, why do you want to join? And I already knew because I could feel their energy. And they're just like, okay, just want to like, and then they would break down crying. And I was just like, okay, I knew that was coming because I felt it from the minute you walked in this door. And for me, being a woman and being able to be that sounding board for somebody, because it does, you know, I'm not trying to say anything, but women are more caregiving. They're more, they're more supportive, like where you don't have to feel judged to feel weak, whether it's a man or a woman, it's like you could feel weak in front of me and I'm still going to support you and I'm going to give you all the support that I can. And I think for a woman, that's a little bit easier because, people are more apt to talk to somebody, especially like me, who's, when I tell them that all that I've been through, and I'm a victim's advocate because I was a victim myself. But that would be the biggest, I would say, thing that I have that goes for me is number one, I have a good smile and I just emulate the energy, make sure that I check my energy every day. So no matter who I'm interacting with, I want to make sure it's that thing that I always say is I want the energy to be reciprocated, right? So whatever energy I'm emulating is the energy I want to be given back to me. So regardless of whatever energy is coming back to me at the time, I want them to have that positive energy. And I don't know if that has to do with me being a woman or whatever, but that is one of the advantages that I've used is making sure that my energy is right. And I realize that I am pretty and I do have a good smile and people just attract to that. So I just got to like give it to them. Like, here, this is me. You could
I
be here with me.
think because you've been through trauma and you have a very nurturing soul, I could sit down and just tell you all of my stuff. So I can only imagine other people in that space being able to be comfortable. You show up strong for other people. And I know that comes from surviving deep personal battles. What have been some of the storms that have been toughest that have shaped the way that you show up today?
Well, aside from growing up through Hell's Angels being at my house all day, and there's going to be some cuss words in here, but like the one
It's
message I
all good.
remember.
It is what it is. I've dropped a couple too. It's all good. Go
So
with
my
it.
mom's message to me growing up was, "Hey, girl, in life you're gonna have to fight, fuck, or show your tits." And I'm like thinking about that. I'm like, well, there's two things that I don't want to do, so I'm definitely gonna fight.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that. That was the first and foremost thing. And humility, and realizing, the loss of my son and, I call it the sucker punch. And this is the challenge and the battle I deal with every single day. And I tell people that you can go through the hardest challenges and still make it through a day is the humility to realize that there's going to be days where you're not okay. You're not okay. And you have a whole support team. You have a support group. You have people that love you and care about you. And don't feel ashamed. Don't feel scared. Don't feel like you're letting them down. You're reaching out to them because you're not okay. And I think that's the biggest thing that we forget is we have love around us. We have our support system around us. We have family. My son's here every day. Like my youngest son, like me and him go on live and we just get crazy. And I think I forget about that sometimes, but I remind myself when I think about the positive things I have to appreciate in life to keep me moving towards the positive things that I want to keep on enjoying. And we forget about that sometimes because we get so lost in the negativity and the sadness that we go through. And don't get me wrong, finding my son unalived was the hardest, the biggest struggle that I've ever been through in my entire life. Like, today I call it a sucker punch day because I watched a stupid show last night and then showed a guy like, and I'm like, can you please? I told my son, I was like, turn it off. I can't watch this. And it just played too long. And boom, I was sent into a trigger. And then I caught myself like not sleeping, woke up and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was sobbing. I woke up sobbing today and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this day. Remember telling myself, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Okay, you're telling yourself all these messages that you tell yourself every day to make it through every day. But there are the days. There's days that nothing works. There's days where like I need someone to freaking just give me a hug and tell me it's going to be okay. I need someone to tell me I'm going to be okay, that I'm strong and I'm beautiful because I say it in the mirror every day, but why can't somebody else tell me that, right? So that's what I
Whew.
that's what I go through.
You are amazing. Look at you got me crying on here. Jeez. I could only imagine that scenario and whew, how difficult that was and that is. Thank you for sharing your journey because I know how hard it is. I'm over here, tears in my eyes, seeing you. I'm an empath as well, so I can feel it from you, and everything's gonna be okay. I know that's easy to say, and I know people are gonna say that, and I know that doesn't per se help,
It
but
does. It does more than
yeah,
you ever know. And if I could get a message out there, is sometimes we think like someone's been through such a traumatic experience that my little message to you to tell you it's going to be okay doesn't help, but it freaking does. It does so much right here. And like to hear it, like you think like a lot of people just don't think like to hear that it means anything, but it does. It does, just to hear, oh my gosh, they said I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. And it is that. It's very much that. Like if anybody knows if they're going through healing and trauma, and something as big as that I've been through, losing my son, it's the little things that you don't think mean anything. They mean a lot. Someone coming by your Instagram and saying, "Hey, I was just thinking about you. Hey, I was just seeing or going to my videos, I like the videos," because most people that know me, they know I'm in the struggle. And like you coming
yeah.
there and giving me your inspiration every day, that means so much. And even if you don't think that means something, keep doing it. Keep doing it for those people that even if you think it's not meaning anything to them, because it may just be that one message that they needed for that day. It may have just been that one thing that they needed to hear. And if I could have just had that one message to my son, to prevent him from doing what he did, like that's the biggest guilt that I deal with every day, is because there wasn't someone there to tell him that he was loved and he should have been here, and including me. And so that's like the biggest struggle. But your messages and the support and the love, we need that. We
I
need that
wanted
when we're healing.
I want to tell you something. I'm going to be real with you. Your son knew that he was loved by you. Could see. I remember watching videos of you in the past, not just since, but even before, with him dancing, with you guys singing, with all of those things. So I want to tell you something. Do not ever second guess or doubt yourself for thinking that he didn't know he was loved by you, because he did know that. He knew that in his heart and he knew that in his soul. Don't put that on yourself because he knew. You could see it, you could tell it. I never met him, but I could see it. I can feel. I read people and I could see he knew how loved by you he was.
And you know what? I'm so glad you say that, because that is the thing that drives me every day. Because at the end of the day, I can sit back and know, like, I look at all the past, and, it's part of the grieving process is you go through the guilt and I should have done this, shoulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda. And what saves me is going back to the videos and looking at everything that I did and understanding that I did the best I could as a mother with what I had. I
You
did the
did
best that I could as a mother with what
you
I had.
did whether what you had or what you didn't have. You did an amazing job. Again, I'm going to keep honing on it. He knew how much you loved him. You spent time, you spent money, you spent energy, you spent your soul with him. Don't ever second guess or doubt that. You're going to, but don't, because I want to tell you it ruminated and it was there. And I'm going to tell you 100% the truth. I always have. And that is the truth. How do you find balance between caring for yourself and pouring into others?
I have to learn boundaries. I have to learn boundaries, and I have to learn when to say, because I have a lot of people, especially since I've been doing the lives and people reaching out to me and needing my attention and my energy. And I have to learn when I'm at my limit. I have to say, like, okay, you know what? I care about you. I want to help you, but like right now, like this is my capacity right now. So this is as much as I can do. So it's first of all setting my boundaries up front, especially when I'm going to go help somebody, and knowing that I'm going through my own battles myself, and knowing how much of myself I can give before it starts to affect me, because you can get lost in trying to help somebody, and especially if somebody's going through a lot, and they're going through a trauma that's like what you've been through and you've had to pull yourself out of, but you're trying to teach them to pull themselves out of it. And you can get lost in that. You can get lost in trying to help somebody and then detrimenting your own personal healing. So I think that's what I've learned is letting people know up ahead in the front line is like saying, I'm here to help you, but here's my boundary. If I tell you like this is as much as I can do, that's as much as I can do. You know, I'm healing myself. I'm going through my own battles and I'm going to give you as much energy as I can. And I'm going to feel it when you need it. But this is as much as I can give. So setting boundaries is been, it's actually been a challenge for me because, you know, being through all the trauma I've been through in my life, that's been a hard thing for me. But it's also been something that's been one of the best things that I've learned is understanding that I have boundaries and I have to let people know that so they don't take more than I know I can give, you know?
Telling that up front. People be like, okay, well, this, and I'm like, okay, well, what is, this is what does that entail? Because
Yeah.
I need to know what I can commit
Yes.
to and what I can. And if I cannot commit to it before, I would stress myself out because I'm like, oh, well, I said I was going to do it. So I'm going to cut my hand off. So that, and I'm like, now I'm like, look, I love you. This is what I can give. If that's not good enough, I'm sorry. If it is, let's roll with it. But that's all I can do.
100%.
What would you want families who've gone through similar things to you to know?
Listen to your kids and listen to them, not just to listen to them with your soul. Because I think that's what I missed the most with Zay was, you know, getting caught up in all that the diagnosis is because, you know, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And, you know, instead of listening to him, I was listening to the doctors and listening to all this stuff. So, like, whatever it is in your family, just listen to them and listen to it to try to understand what they may be going through. Because I think that's what I missed because I was always a working mom trying to support my kids, trying to, you know, always on the go, not really having 5 minutes to just say, like, okay, I'm listening, but I'm not really listening but listening to their messages to you and resonating with what they're saying. Because if I truly would have done that and acted on it, you know, I probably wouldn't be in this situation, but I have to be in this situation today to learn that that was truly what I was missing from my relationships with them is I was always on the go, always got, okay, I'm listening to what you're saying. Okay, we got to do this. Jujitsu, boom, boom, boom. Okay, jujitsu's going to fix it. This is going to fix it. All right, this is what we're doing. But never really listen saying like, Mom, I'm not okay. I don't like this. I don't like that. And just me thinking it's him growing up or going through what he's going through. Okay, well, let me stop for a minute and understand why you're saying these things and not just saying, oh, the doctors are going to say you don't like the medication. So it's everybody's saying all this stuff. Like, listen to your kids because a lot of times they're telling you things, how they're feeling and what they're going through that we would just brush over because we think it's just a normal thing of growing up. And, you know, statistically, kids from the ages of 13 to 18 are the highest at risk for what my son did. And it's because we don't talk about mental wellness in schools. There's nothing in there in the schools to say like, hey, it's okay to not feel okay. And what do you do when you don't feel okay? What do? They bully the kids that don't feel okay because they don't know how to talk about it because it's not okay to talk about it, you
Or
know?
they
And
send
that's
them to the school counselor who
for a 501c3 whatever the 101 plan is to put them to where they can be on this special education plan, which that's not what they needed. They just needed the kids that were there bullying them to stop. And then what are you doing about it? Nothing. Or is there any, like, you know what I mean? There's nothing that goes in the schools to say, hey, there's going to be days when you feel like this, when you feel like, hey, the hormone levels, right? Where I feel like if the world would be better without me. That's the first thing the kids get in their head, right? Because I remember being a kid that age and having those thoughts in my head, and there was nothing in the education, nothing in the system to help me through those feelings. It's like, you shouldn't feel that way. It's like almost, you know, you're not supposed to talk about that, you know, and if,
it's like
yes,
taboo, right? And it's like you try to get help and then
and you're
it's
the
like
weirdo.
yes, or
You're the
they
weirdo.
take those things and it's used against you and it's like I could have just done bad enough by myself. I didn't,
Exactly.
you
So that's
know.
what I fight for. Like for me, is to fight for, especially at those age levels, because I saw my son evolve through that, and I saw him go through the school system with that, and nobody there to help him. Like they're like, let me give him this education plan, but that's not helping him. That's not helping him walk down the hallways where they're making fun of him and they're making him feel like he shouldn't be here anymore. And he literally comes home. I used to like take him to school and he would throw up the minute he would get out of the car. You know, finally I took him out of the school system. It's because the school systems don't have a proper education on how to socially be a social, how to be a social freaking person. You know what I mean? How to like
how to just
be
not
a
be.
decent human being.
Thank you. Why are we not teaching that? Like
Right?
that should be a
Here's your
class.
decent human
Yeah,
class. This is what you should do and don't do.
exactly. Just be
Just be nice.
yeah, be nice. Like
I'm telling
for
you.
listeners that might feel vulnerable right now, maybe they're walking alone at night, maybe they've experienced trauma. What are a few self-awareness, self-defense tips that you would want them to know?
I would tell you, like from my experience, is what's always worked for me is you have to have that confidence. Okay, I call it cockiness, whatever, but like I could walk down a dark alley and know that just my stance, my posture, and my energy alone will scare somebody and when they wanting to mess with me. Um, it's worked many times, but more so is the energy, is have your energy right regardless of what situation you're going into, and to know that we're all going to be vulnerable at times, but you should always be alert and aware. When I teach self-defense, I teach people things from the situations that I've been through because I've made stupid decisions like, well, I shouldn't have done that. So
See, what had
like,
happened was
see, what happened was, don't pump your gas with your door open with your purse sitting there because someone's going to probably go for it. Like, it's always been a situation that I've done like, well, that was a dumb decision. But the biggest thing for me is learn from those decisions. Learn from those bad decisions that you made in your life where you're just like, well, that put me in a bad situation. Okay, now I got to learn it so I could teach it to somebody else so that I've actually learned it myself, because you can't teach it unless you learn it. So that's the biggest thing
100%.
for me. Yeah, is understanding that, life is going to hit us. Life is going to hit us. There's always going to be just things that are going to hit you hard or things that are going to come at you. And if you are aware of your surroundings from your energy standpoint, because you can always feel the energy of a situation. Like I can always feel when something's going to be bad or good, even when it turns out to be a good situation, I can feel it right away. I'm like, okay, Amberlee, you should or shouldn't get involved in this one, but okay, you're going to get involved, but this is what's going to happen. Let me just get ready, because you're going to probably have to like submit somebody at some point.
Let me
And it's
ask
just
you,
making your energy ready. It's making your energy ready for whatever the hell is going to happen to you.
always ready. What's a daily habit that you have that makes you feel safer in your own skin?
Safer my own skin. So I have a ritual every single day I do. The minute I get out of bed, I'm like a machine.
I'm gonna steal this if it's good. As long as it didn't
As
just
long as
say,
it's not hurting anybody else, we're good.
yeah, yeah, I can't go to
So I
jail.
have a I have
I'm
I have
too
a
cute. I'm handsome. I can't go to jail.
so I have a ritual I go through every single day. Every day I wake up, I go straight to my mirror. As bad as I look, I don't care. I could have my hair like this. I could just look one eyelash on, one eyelash off. And I look in the mirror and I give myself the personal positive affirmations, and I tell myself every day that you are beautiful, you're strong, you're resilient, you can make it through anything. You've made it this far in life and you are still standing and you're here for a reason. So don't let anything knock you down today, because you freaking got this, girl. You got this. That's my personal message I do every
I'm gonna
single
steal it,
day.
but I'm gonna say boy instead of girl. I'm stealing
That's a
that
good
one.
one.
I'm stealing it. I'm stealing
But
it.
you have to actually do it. Like I tell people this all the time. They're just like, I don't understand. Like, and so like I actually did it with my neighbor, because I was like, come here. This is what I'm actually talking about. I want you to look at yourself in the freaking mirror. And I want you to say this message like you mean it. Like if you're telling it to somebody who else is not there, but it's actually the person that you want to have that message, but it's you. And you tell yourself that message every freaking single day, even when you don't believe it, because there's days I wake up and I'm like, I don't believe the message, but I'm gonna freaking tell myself anyway. And I'm gonna look at myself in the face and I'm gonna look at myself in the mirror, one eyelash and all, and I'm gonna say, you're beautiful. You're freaking beautiful. And you got this. Don't let anything take you down. No. And most days it's good. But aside from that, I do a lot of meditative breathing. I've learned meditative breathing helps a lot. So I do the personal affirmations, meditative breathing. and I work out like an insane person. MMA and yoga.
We're
Nothing's
gonna
better than
get we're
choking the
gonna
shit
get
out of
to the
somebody.
we're gonna get to the end because people definitely need to follow your journey. Because there's been days when I'm like, you know what, I don't feel like doing it today, and I'll see one of your videos. I'm like, damn, okay, I'm gonna go. You know, if someone wants to take back their power, where should they start?
Right here, and right here. More here than here because your mind can tell you so many different
The
things.
mind, yeah.
But until you believe it in here, until I realized that what I was fighting for, advocacy, when I was fighting for helping other people get through their struggles, until I believed it here, it's never going to be here. So it starts here, and then you bring it here. Then you bring it out and you get the videos like you see my videos and I would scare people.
You don't scare. I want to thank you for sharing your heart and your wisdom today. The work you're doing, and beyond just that, the energy and the strength and the resilience that you project. I don't know if you know this, and a lot of times when we come from trauma, we don't think we do enough, but it is enough. It's helped me time and time again to see you pushing through with all that you've been through. And it makes me days that I didn't want to get up. I get up and say, hey, if she can do this through everything she's been through, I can do this. I'm going to steal the affirmation, but I wanted to let you know, number one, how grateful I am that you came on today, but even bigger than that, for the person and the soul that you are and helping people change their lives. Everybody, go give her a follow. Do you want to give your Instagram handle?
Yes, it's Foxy Amberlee _GB.
Follow her, support her, and if you ever get a chance to see her, you won't want to miss it. She has an energy and a vibe that is, I can't even begin to put into words. You know, life gets heavy, but it's good to know that we're not alone and we're stronger than we think.
Thank you so
Until
much
next
for
time, keep showing up, keep choosing hope, and keep building the kind of strength that can't be broken. I appreciate you, Amberlee, for coming on. You're always welcome on the front porch.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Love
Thank
you.
you.
Peace and
Love you
positive vibes
too.
always.
I'll talk to
Bye.
you soon.
All right. Bye bye.